All right, last time we were down here with Brooks and his AMG collection, we drove his manual swapped C63 AMG. But if you're old school, if you don't need a manual, whatever, you're an AMG purist, let's call it, you want an auto, the CLK55 is probably a good option. Problem is, from the factory, they never came with the M113K, the supercharged version of that engine, with exception to a very rare model that we'll talk about a little bit later. But this one behind me solves that problem. Let's go drive. Big problem solver this guy Brooks is, as it turns out. I've driven this car a few times before. Hold on, let's get it started. But we've waited a while to get it on camera for you guys. Let's go. Can you guys hear that? Yes, M113K under the hood, 5.4 liter V8. They only came from the factory with a naturally aspirated version of this engine though. Wow, instantaneous torque. It's just one of those cars you immediately know the second you get into it, it's gonna be a handful. The throttle is so touchy and just ready to go with torque. But you guys are probably thinking, hey, Mercedes put this engine, the supercharged version of the M113, in the E55 AMG. They did it, that car is insane. But the thing is, this is a lot less complicated in a lot of ways, which we'll get to in a second. But first, we have a straightaway. So let's downshift. There we go, finally. With the 5-speed torque converter, and we'll punch it. That's sideways and rev limit. I would suggest just not shifting these manually. I'm gonna leave it in auto. The whole point in my mind is to get this to a power level higher than an M156. So in stock form, these made about 360 horsepower NA, right? The supercharged M113K out of an SL55 AMG, which this engine is from, made about 490 horsepower and over 500 pound-feet of torque. That's M156 territory. We're literally just gonna go from a dig here. Let's go. Oh my. Okay, all right. All right, yeah, the torque from 4,000 RPM, even lower, but is insane. This is what this engine was built for. I mean, I don't know how much boost we're putting out right now. It's just got a Y-stack crank pulley, and then of course that adds some additional boost. Brooks has added some additional cooling. We'll talk to him in a second. There's a few other mods, but that's basically it. There's not a whole lot to this swap. It's just all of the kind of cooling and additional wiring and piping that you need to do around the engine. The engine itself feels right at home in this car, and it just feels like it wants to jump out of its skin. There is one important modification that Brooks has made. Now, from the factory, these superchargers are on a clutch, so when you're off throttle, it's not pulling drag from the engine, right? And then when you touch the throttle, it gets back on the clutch and gives you additional boost, right? This is on a fixed pulley, so there's no clutch anymore, and the response because of that is incredible. Not only that, but at low speeds especially. Not sure if you guys can hear that right now. The noise of the supercharger is pretty remarkable. It is, however, quickly overpowered by this exhaust. It's a full straight 3-inch exhaust, no cat, nothing.
That was insane when you
It's so loud, man. Yeah, Brooks is driving the C63, and that car is so tame and cushy compared to this. And this one is modified. It's on Bilstein dampers all the way around, sway bars, all that kind of stuff. It's really dialed in. It's also got 235s in the front and 265s in the back, which is enough, I guess. But half the fun of this car is you just want the tail to wag. You want to get sideways. You want to get loose. It's a muscle car at the end of the day. I think this car is pretty perfectly sized. This makes me so happy. Good brakes. Fully sideways there. Yeah. At any given moment, you can just lay down rubber on the road. Such a good feeling. Brooks, do you want to introduce yourself for like the 5th time?
Hello again. My name is Brooks. I run a channel on YouTube also called Anderson, Instagram, etc. All about older era AMGs, swaps, modifications, maintenance, just everything in that whole realm. So
the one thing you did not cover though, because correct me if I'm wrong, you bought this car, is the supercharger swap. You bought it like this.
So yeah, this is probably the one car out of the fleet that I would label bought, not built, to a sense, because I've done a lot to it since I bought it. But yeah, it had the whole M113K swap, which we'll get into the whole story on how that happened.
Correct me if I'm wrong, the later updated cars got these brakes, which look to be the 6-piston brakes?
Yeah.
Did you do that?
He put those on, so it has a 6-piston, 4-piston combo, which are directly from the CLK63s. I believe these are the 360mm rotor version. So when I got it, it has a Wistek 180mm crank pulley. Great little mod they did. It has a really cool little custom tank that they built for the intercooler.
Oh wow.
Cooling.
Stealthy.
My one gripe about it is they didn't put a twist off lid. It only has this little neck on it to fill, which I'll end up changing out later. I was actually going to, but I told Marcus I'm not going to mess with anything before he comes and shoots a video. But yeah, it has that routes to an upgraded pump, and then it also has a big heat exchanger in the front. I don't know if you'll be able to, you can probably see it through the grill.
You can see
here.
it, maybe the camera will pick it up, I'm not sure, but.
And then big mod here, these are Need Swings. He calls them tweaked surge tanks, basically crossover tubes, which equalize the boost pressure, basically lower the boost pressure, but more efficient power. So increased power, lower boost pressure, which is against the norms of what people think when they think boost. Like they think you want all the boost, but boost is not always good for the engine. So you want to lower it and make it more efficient where you can, or higher flowing.
Okay.
The car also has headers. I believe they're Kleeman mid-lengths.
How much power do you think this makes right now?
I would say, from what I've asked Josh, I haven't put it on the dyno, but from what he has on it tune-wise and what we've done, fuel, everything else, I would say like 600 or so. To the wheels, I have no idea.
Upgraded fuel injectors and still the stock ECU?
Yeah, stock ECU, M113K ECU, which is different than the normal ECUs that these came with. That's a big deal. You can modify the stock ECUs to work, but they can't do as much, and they can't run as much boost. And then it has 550cc EV14 injectors, which originally these came with like the EV1 style, which are pretty outdated nozzle-wise technology. Me being a car person and people watching, you guys know, you check Facebook Marketplace every day, you check Craigslist, you check this and that, like not looking to buy anything particular. And I stumbled upon this listing. Actually, I think somebody sent it to me, but a lot of mods listed in that generic listing. And I think it was listed for like 16 grand. And I thought it was like fake, or I don't know what it was. So I looked into it a little bit. It disappeared within like a day or two. A few months went by. I'm randomly checking again as I do, and I see it pop up again, and it's 18,000 or something like that, and a lot more pictures, a lot more information. And basically the guy who I know now, shout out to Alex, the former owner of this car, who's a good friend now, basically said, I want this car to go to the right person. You know, hit me up if you're serious about it. I have people all over the West Coast that are contacting me, but I want to find the right person for it. And I just told him, like, I love these cars. I've been working on for a long time. I know what they are, know what to do, how to take care of them. And he's like, all right, I've got a person that wants to fly in tomorrow from California, but it sounds like you're the guy. I'm gonna pull the listing, come look at it. If you like it, you can buy it. If you don't, no pressure.
Love that.
We'll go from there. And I was like, this is amazing.
Wow.
Okay, like I'm coming tomorrow, let's figure it out.
Yeah.
This is an amazing deal. I don't think I can pass this up.
Yeah, like it wasn't a shoddy build job.
Yeah, it wasn't like somebody threw it together, slapped it together. I mean, there was things that needed to be fixed and updated, but he was transparent about everything. Ended up shaking a deal that day, left with the car. So this car, when it was maybe 4 or 5 years old, I believe, the owner of it at the time, who I think was the first or second owner, he decided he's gonna go down the rabbit hole and do the swap. From what I've gathered and what I've seen, receipts and other things and just parts on the car, he spent probably at the time 30, 40 grand, maybe more on all the parts and upgrades that he did.
Wow.
Because at that time, this swap was still like, it was a pretty new thing to do. The motors were not cheap. They're not cheap again now, but for a while they kind of dipped.
It should be a pretty straightforward bolt-in swap though, no?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
bolt-in. It's just all the accessories, the M113K, the coolers, this and that, like those things take time to figure out where to put things. And the guy built it, spent all that money on it, and then story goes, he worked at a shop, which is where a lot of the work was being done. That shop caught fire. The car was in the back corner, never got touched by the fire, but smoke consumed the building. So insurance wrote it off. It got totaled, so it has a rebuilt title now. I'm sure the guy was bummed after spending all the money on the car. It was his baby, cherished it, and after that rebuilt title, I think he was just kind of demoralized and decided to let it go to Alex, who was a good friend of his. And then that's where I connected the dots and ended up picking it up. So I picked it up. It needed a lot of wiring, the ECU tune updated, which Mercedes Watch Shop again helped me out a ton with that. Fuel pumps needed to upgrade. We did a lot of cooling stuff, surge tanks, a lot of little bits that just kind of updated and made the car dialed in, trustworthy. And after that, I started daily driving it. So it's been amazing.
The high point for this car is, one, it looks sick. I think these look great. It's not quite the Black Series. We know that. It doesn't have the wide fender flares. It's not the CLK DTM, which did get the supercharged version of this engine from the factory, but they only made 100 of them and about 80 convertibles, I believe. All the noise, just everything it has to give, just all at once. There's no pitch change in the engine. It's just everything all at once until you decide, and a very important decision it is, when to come off the throttle. That's it. It is so dumb. This is such a stupid car, Brooks. And I love it. This is a great straight line Autobahn car. I mean, the speedo is just straight, center of attention in the middle of the gauge cluster, typical AMG. And it revs to about 6,500 RPM, and it's planted. It rides amazing. The steering, still got hydraulic power steering. Feels way better than I would have expected just looking at this car, and it handles really well. Most of the engine, or about half of it, is behind the front axle, so we're not talking about what you might feel in a C5 RS6, for example, where the front end's gonna start pushing on you. No, it's actually, for a big Mercedes, a big, small Mercedes, it's kind of nimble. It's really fun to drive. The later cars did get an updated steering rack that this one I'm driving does not have. And really simple compared to the E55. This did not have any of the air suspension crap that car did. It's great when it works, but it's not when it doesn't. I would stay away from those cars in the used market personally. It also doesn't have the, what do they call it? The EBC, electro servo brake control. It's brake by wire, and they only used it for a couple of years, and they were like, we got to get out of this. This is going to be a lawsuit waiting to happen. So this doesn't have any of that. And just a bulletproof engine underneath. So, and everything works. Seats are comfortable. He's kept all these interior carbon bits, which is really cool. So real carbon fiber, the trim, I mean, it looks OEM. The interior is held up amazing, soft touch everywhere. What's not to like? The transmission is kind of dim-witted and slow at times, but it can hold 700 plus pound-feet. And look at this, 2 levels of heated seats. That's when you know you're driving a real, when it was new, $80,000+ vehicle. 2 levels of heated seats. Naturally, the goal with this is to get as much power as possible for as little money as you can. Much like the E55 AMG, the W211, that's where these cars are sitting right now. You can pick these up for as little as $5,000. They're not all like that. They're generally kind of in between 10 and 15,000 USD, but CLK63s with the M156, you can get similar torque here, but they're going for $25,000, $30,000. It's a tough call. I mean, for a 2-door, 4-seater coupe, this is pretty much your option if you want over 500 horsepower for $10,000 USD. Plus the engine. Here I am forgetting about the most important part, the engine. You do have to source one of those and swap it. All right, you guys. Hey, well, thanks for bringing the car out. Anything else you want people to know?
No, have fun.
Oh, do you have plans to manual swap this?
Okay, when I first got it, I was for sure. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna manual swap this car. It's no question. But after driving it, I will say the one motor that I think, I can't say best left alone to automatic, but I just think the automatic really suits the M113K. And with the way this car is built, it's my straight line car. Like, it's my big power, punch it and put a smile on your face. It's not my, it can handle, but it's not my back road car. It's my cruiser and my big power straight line car. So I like the automatic, and with the TCM tune, also from Josh, Mercedes Swap Shop, shift's amazing for the time period. I don't think it would make it better.
Yeah.
It would make it different, but I don't think in this case it would make it better. It would just be something different, and I already have manual swap stuff, so
Yeah.
I'll leave this be the automatic.
Awesome. Hey, well,
Yeah.
thanks again for the time. And yeah, guys, if you want to check out Brooks, in the description, as always, YouTube, Instagram, all that stuff.
Yeah, thank you, Marcus. Thanks,
Sweet.
man.